welcome this morning to Monday Chapel. Welcome to this Monday, which is a kickoff to our Unlearn week. If you are not familiar with Unlearn Week is a week of programming when we provide a safe space for conversations around biblical anti-racism and provides spaces for us to unlearn our biases. And this is also not just 1 week of programming, but also kicks off a full year of programming through our Center for Intercultural Student Development. And so we are grateful here at Chapel to be the first event of Unlearn Week. And today we have with us a guest speaker named Nikki Lerner. And Nikki comes to us from the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area of Maryland. And Nikki is, first of all, a wonderful human being. She is humble and inspiring and challenging and just an absolute delight to be with. She's one of my favorite people. And so we're so grateful to have her with us. Her work is as a culture coach. And so she does this work with institutions and with executives who are exercising multicultural leadership and giving them resources and tools and providing context for teams to talk about how they can lead well in multicultural organizations. She has an amazing podcast called The Culture Coach, which you can find on your favorite podcast platform. And she also has a culture coaching lab that provides resources and master classes for people to learn about multicultural leadership. And so without further introduction, help me welcome Nikki Lerner.
Hi. Hey everybody, what's going on? Thank you. Jojo? John, at your service. Thank you, sir. Good to see you today. Awesome. Hi, I'm Nikki. Okay, somebody else tell me who you are. Oh, thank God. Okay, who are you? Claire? Hi, Claire. I'm Nikki. Nice to meet you. Somebody else. Tell me who you are. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, that was very fast. You're Ava Davis. Okay, and what was the rest? Okay. I'm a football fan, so I don't know, Ava Davis. We may not have conversation today. Yeah, one more person. Yes. Yeah. Awesome. It's Josh, right? Hi. Nice to see you. Cool. One more person. Who are you? Gosh, you guys are going to be awesome leaders. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ephraim? Hi, Ephraim. Do you have a favorite sport? Running. Okay. Thank you, Ephraim. I love it. Hi, Nolan. Good to see you. Gosh, it's been a minute. Good to see you today. Well, I am delighted to see you all. As Paul said, thank you for all those beautiful things you said, Paul. I am I'm in Columbia, Maryland, which is sort of in between Baltimore and D.C., but closer to Baltimore. But I never tell people I'm from Baltimore because if you actually live in Baltimore City, people are like, you ain't from Baltimore. Trust me. So I'm very clear on where I live in Columbia. So does anybody remember a story that Jesus tells in the Bible? Sometimes it's called the parable of the talents. Does anybody remember this? Okay, you can talk back to me. It's really fine. Like, really. So, do y'all remember this? Oh, good. Okay, sweet. So, if you remember, this is such an interesting story, particularly for people in ministry, because I've been working in ministry work for a really long time, and what I have noticed is that ministry people are one of the skills they have the best is comparison. Like, man, we got that on lockdown. We are so good at comparison, particularly those of you who are in like creative arts. Woo, that's your superpower. Comparison is your superpower, right? Anybody else? Yes, comparison? I know nobody wants to admit that. It's okay, I know. I know. I used to be a worship pastor for about 20 years, which is amazing because I'm only 30. No. No, I am 47 and happy. Every year that I get to be alive, thank you, Jesus. That's how I feel, right? Okay, now. Don't let them lie to y'all. Don't let them lie to y'all about getting older, okay? Getting older, every year you are alive on this planet, God has something for you to do, okay? So don't let them, I don't know who them is. I just made them up, but don't let them lie to you, okay? But if you remember the parable of the talents, it kind of goes something like this. There was a guy who owned lots of stuff. That's exactly the biblical translation. There was a guy who owned lots of stuff. And he owned so much stuff, and he was going to go away on a trip. And when he went on the trip, he pulled 3 people together. So let's see. Marcus, can you come up here for me for a minute? Delante, come on up. And Esther, can you come up for a minute? Y'all know these people? Okay. I met them 5 minutes ago, and they're amazing. Okay. So what happens is the owner, I'll be the owner, okay? The owner who owns lots of stuff says, I'm going to go on a trip. And Marcus, I'm going to give you $20,000. You're in luck, okay? I give Marcus $20,000. And then, as they're standing here, I walk and I say, Delante, I'm going to give you something too. You know what I'm going to give you? $15,000. Okay, yeah, you didn't look quite as excited, okay? $15,000, right? And then I look at Esther and I'm like, oh, Esther, you, from my special Esther, get 5. but not $5, 5,000. Okay, $5,000. So this is pretty much the setup for the story of the parable of the talents, okay? So here's what happens in the parable of the talents. Marcus goes out and says, ooh, look at this $20,000. And he grabs it and he says, I'm going to invest it. All right? Now, it doesn't say what you invested it in. It just says you invested it. Marcus invested it, and he got a return. Okay? Like a big return. Right? So then, Delante decides to go and take his $15,000, right, and invest that. And it says that he had a great return for his work. And then it talks about Esther. Here's what Esther decided to do. Sorry, Esther. This is what Esther decided to do. Esther decided that, ooh, this $5,000, you know what the best thing would be for me to do? Y'all, I'm going to put it in the ground. Doesn't that sound amazing? I'm going to take this $5,000. Think if you had $5,000 in cash and you're like, what should I do with this? You know what? I'm going to put it in the ground. I'm literally going to dig a hole in the earth and bury it. Okay? So then here's what happens. I come back and I see my 3 favorite people and I say, Marcus, so what'd you do with what I gave you? Filthy rich, Marcus says. Yes. Okay. Filthy rich. And then I say to Marcus, thank you. Well done. Let's go celebrate. You can interpret celebrate however you would like, okay? So let's go celebrate, right? Okay. Now, then I look at Delante and I say, hey, so tell me what you did. Somewhat rich, he says. Okay? Hey, I'd rather be somewhat rich than not somewhat rich. I don't know, okay? Right? Okay, so Delante says somewhat rich. Great. Esther, how do you think you're feeling right now? As is. Okay. So I say, Esther, what did you do with what I gave you? What do you say?
I buried it.
I buried it. Now, here's the thing. You would think that Esther would literally just say, I just buried it. But the way the story goes, Esther didn't do that at all. You know what Esther did? Esther blamed me. You remember that in the story? Esther blamed me. Esther basically says, well, you know, you got a whole lot of money and I don't see you invest in it. That's essentially what happened in the story, okay? The person with the least amount of money decided to blame the owner for what they didn't have. Let me say that again. The third servant in the story decided to blame the owner, blame the person that gave them something in the first place because it didn't have a return. I know we can't identify in this story at all. I'm not even quite sure why I brought it up. Right? But have you ever done that? You've been like, oh, well, God, if you just give me that person's gift, well, then we'd be better. Right? Well, if I could just sing like, I don't know, fill in the blank. Oh, y'all filling in the blank? Are you filling in? You're filling in the blank right now. Okay. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Okay. If I could just sing like that person, well, then we'd be good. If you just give me that amount of money, well, of course I could work for you, God. If I just had what Marcus had, then all would be well in the world. And we do this all the time. And this mindset that we have, we bring to Unlearn Week. Because what I have found, y'all doing all right, by the way? Okay. What I have found is that the reason we have such a problem unlearning is that we want to hold on to these stories that no longer empower us. We want to hold on to the stories we make up about what God has given us and what he hasn't given us. We want to make up these stories, and what that's going to do for you is that if you're not careful, you're going to show up to Unlearn Week and hold on to all of your stories, and you're going to hear amazing people speak and not learn a thing. So I'm saying this to you not to make you upset. I actually want you to feel great, like, oh, look. Because here's the thing about the scripture. Almost every speaker that I hear talk about the scripture, they're always focused on Esther. And I'm sure you're awesome to focus on. But they're always focused on Esther, like, oh, look at that bad servant. Oh, look what that third servant did. Oh, don't do that, right? Fear and trembling, okay? I want you to think about Marcus. Marcus is like, yes, give it to me, right? No, but I want you to think about Marcus today. Okay, because it's going to be super easy for you to think like Esther. I don't want you to think about it. You do that on your own, okay? During Unlearn Week, I want you to think about Marcus. I want you to think about the person who invested. I want you to think about the person who actually saw what was given to them and said, oh, look at this. Yes, exactly, right? Yes, yes, right? Because here's the thing. You know why the third person in the story buried it in the ground? Why you think? Somebody tell me. Okay, fear. What else? There's it's okay if there's no wrong answer. Just tell me what you think. Okay, jealousy. Insecurity. What else? Apathy. Oh, it's so good. Thank you. What else? Yeah, relentless, good. What else? Jane, you reading people's journals. Jane said, not wanting to work that hard. Ooh, okay, Jane. Yes, exactly. That's what I thought. So here's another thing to add to that is you and I will never share or invest in that which we do not deem valuable. You and I will never share that which we do not deem valuable. Exactly. That's how it feels. That's how it feels. You guys can sit now. The third thank you, by the way. Yeah, well done. The third servant didn't invest Because when the third servant looked at what everybody else had, they didn't value it. They said, look at this teeny tiny little amount. This ain't gonna do nothing. Buried it in the ground. And so if you don't value it, you will not share it. And I am here to tell you that you're too awesome not to share your life. And I'm talking to a room of a good bit of, we'll refer to you all as non-minority people. How about that? Okay, I know you're like, what is that? Oh, okay. Okay, because here's the thing in Unlearn Week. One of the things I believe that you need to unlearn, particularly if you're a non-minority, I've never actually used that word before, a non-minority, is that, you know what? In this whole discussion around racial healing and multicultural leadership and all these things, that you got nothing to say. I know you. I get you. So what happens a lot of times is you will end up taking who you are and burying it in the ground. Because that's what you've been told. You've been told, I don't want to hear from you. Nobody wants to hear from you. Go bury it in the ground. Can you unlearn that this week? Can you try? I want to challenge you to try to unlearn that this week. Thank you. Try to unlearn it. And for those of you that are not part of the majority culture, I want to challenge you too. You're not out of this, by the way. Some of you are like, how dare she tell them white people that they need to talk? Yes. You know why? Because I'm not about to have a conversation by myself. By myself, with myself. No, that ain't gonna get us anywhere. I'm not having a conversation by myself. That's ridiculous. Exactly. That's how I feel too. But here's the thing. Is for those of you that are not part of the majority culture, I'm challenging you to unlearn these things that we've been told. There's no space for us. Nobody wants to talk to us. Nobody cares what we have to think. We gotta work, Yes, some of those things are true. And can you unlearn so that you could be in the spirit of Marcus as well? Y'all aren't gonna forget that now, in the spirit of Marcus, right? Sorry, Marcus. But here's the thing. At the end of Matthew 25, at the end of the parable of the talents, this is the promise that Jesus gives. Okay, check this out. Yeah, you ready? Okay, me too. All right, this is Matthew chapter 25, verse 29. Okay. He says, to those who use well what they are given, even more will be given. Did you know this was at the end of the parable of the talents? No, because we always talk about the third servant with his weeping and gnashing of teeth, right? Yes. Okay? To those who use well what they are given, even more will be given. And, wait, there's more. And they will have an abundance. It says that. It's in the red letters, y'all. Right? This is the promise. This is the promise that Jesus makes to us in this story. If you use what you are, who you are, what you've been through, your thoughts about the world, what you think about politics, what you think about women in ministry, what you think about men in ministry, what you think about anybody in ministry, all these things. If you use well what you have been given, Jesus says, more. Whew. More will be given. And not only that, there will be an abundance. So what I'm asking you and challenging you to do in Unlearn Week is to not take who you are, any part of who you are, and stick it in the ground. We don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. It is time to go. Let's go. Yes. You guys ready? You ready to go? I know that was a lot of words, but be in the spirit of Marcus. Thanks, everybody.
Was that not amazing? Do you want to hear more? Come at 12:30. I'm here to introduce Unlearn Week. Jane Bruin, Director of the Center of Intercultural Student Development. We call it the CISD. This week, Unlearn Week, launches Unlearn 365, which is a series of things that basically are about justice, are about belonging, about being a stronger community together. All of us together, right? So this week, we are, with the help of amazing partners who bring people who share their own knowledge, we will be talking about a lot of things. I have outside here, the team here, and also outside on the podiums, there's a schedule. You can check it out. A lot of professors give extra credit for the sessions that you go. If you go to 3 sessions, you can also earn an Unlearn shirt. You see the back here. So yeah, there is no reason not to go. So come to Unlearn Week. Nikki, who was amazing today, will be continuing at 12:30 in the Meter Center Lecture Hall. And then tonight is a screening in the CFAC, which will be amazing too. And then Susan Berner at 4, again at the Meter Center, is talking about spiritual disciplines and how that can help us to be anti-racist. It's a great week of learning. I encourage you all to come and earn shirts. Have a good day.